Hello, hello. It's a sad video. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Toilet paper is there. Okay, just in case I need to cry. Oh, there's an insect in there. Oh my gosh. I need to let that insect out. Oh, I know where the insect came in. It came in through that crack. Okay. Okay. Maybe that is a cricket. I don't know. I can't shine the camera in there because the sun is shining in, so I'll take care of that later. So anyway, this is a beautiful color, matches this here. So my husband, he thinks the reason why I show my face and make videos is because I'm a narcissist. He really believes that. And he thinks I'm extremely needy. And last night when we went to bed, first it was nice, but then I had to kiss my wrist to comfort myself. I always do that to energetically comfort myself when I feel hated or despised or something. So meditate into it, into that feeling. So we were talking about the way we communicate with other people, and whoever we meet, we don't have any friends at all. So I have one friend in Slovakia. Her name is Mirka. She's a sweetheart, an angel soul. And I don't have friends in real life. So I talk to my brother like every 3 months or something, one time maybe on Google Hangout. And he only does that because my mother urges him to do it, because my mother will say, you need to talk to Nikki. You know, I'm worried about her. My mother's always worried that I'm going to commit suicide. So that's been going on for many, many, many years. And that's why my brother talks to me, because he feels urged into it. So so my husband, he doesn't have friends either, but he doesn't shy away from lashing out against me. I don't know, I have to start somewhere with this video, you know. So there's just so much to talk about and so much going through my mind at the same time, and it's very difficult which one to choose first. So, but I'm gonna start with him first because that's who I live with. And I'm making a video right now, so.
Okay, what?
I'm making a video right now. Okay. I told you I was gonna make a video. That my video making is the only way I can express myself and maybe even be seen and felt and heard and understood. That is, if there's any possibility to do this, to be seen by a living human, then this is my venue to do it. I don't have any other choice. Maybe I am a total narcissist. Maybe I am this this attention-seeking whore. That's really what he thinks I am. he expressed that many times in different ways. So he gets particularly angry if I show just a little bit more skin or something. So that gets really mad. And yeah, it's kind of like living in some kind of monastery. That's what it is. And I'm living in a monastery. I have no physical love, I have, in the sense of of real full body contact to someone, like I'm not even talking about sexual. I don't have this full body contact to someone to a human whom I would feel safe with, like I cuddle with my dog Dave, non-sexually. I always have to add that because people will, if they find an opportunity to slander me, they will. And so I'm not going to get into that subject now. That's another subject that I can make a whole video about. Maybe I'll make it tomorrow. So, but, my dog is my child. I say this for several reasons. I say this because I want to make this very clear, that I don't have any sexual contact or feelings to my dog. Okay? I don't have those feelings to dogs. I don't have those feelings to women. I'm a fully straight woman. Okay? Always been female. I know one has to say this nowadays, because there's so much shaming going on in the world all the time. People will shame, gay shame, trans shame, look shame, slander, assume things about other people right away, about their very personal things. So, but for me, it is absolute. I just want to emphasize this one more time. I am a woman. I have always been female. I was born female. I am fully straight. My brain is fully female. My body is fully female. With a lot of curves, trust me. Okay, this is a fact. Okay? Even though my face looks a little bit kind of, yeah, it looks kind of boyish and all of this kind of harsh, harsh type of face. But yeah, but maybe to some people I am extremely ugly, and to myself, no, I can't say that I'm extremely ugly. I'm actually very grateful for what I have. I mean, it could be better, but I'm extremely grateful for what I have, for my face and my body, even my hair that is kind of that split now and stands up like this, and I don't have the financial means to take care of, to make my hair look better and all of this. But try to make the best out of it. I try to not be looking offensive or anything, or as the haters accuse me of looking disgusting. That's what they always say to you. They say to me, "You look disgusting and gross and obnoxious and and tranny-ish and the list goes on. They call me retarded. They think I'm extremely stupid. I mean, it just goes on and on and on with the insults, on and on and on, ad hominem insults against the human, against the person, against something one can't do anything about in terms of looks, So, or calling me stupid is just simply false. I'm not stupid. My IQ is 104 on the first IQ test that I've ever done. And so I score very high with visual visual thinking with 3D thinking, like thinking in pictures. That's very high. But I'm also fairly high in the other areas. I'm not lopsided. My intelligence is not lopsided. I'm not a savant. I have an overall high intelligence. So a little bit, just a little bit higher than average, for even in Japan. So the average IQ I heard was 103, I minus 104, so a little bit over average. If I train the test, I can get it way higher. I'm sure I can get it to 130. I'm sure of that. If I train this, you can train those tests. There's a guy, he trained Michael Lang, and he trained that very thoroughly, those tests. And yeah, so you got to 200. I think if you really put your mind on this, you can. Yeah, I'm sure he is also very intelligent, that Michael. I have no doubt about it. So, but anyway, and it's, yeah. The people who call me ugly, they don't show their face, okay? And they also don't contribute to the actual subject, to the conversation in the subject. They have nothing to say to the subject. There's no input, there's no knowledge, there's no contribution to that discussion. So obviously they have nothing to say other than insults. That's all they have to say. And obviously, I must be making them extremely angry, because some of these people yesterday, actually, they were talking about me, saying that I was going to die in half a year. Or and then another guy said, no, I think she's going to die in 2 years. So they're trying now with every means they can, which is all orchestrated, I think. I think there are people that are actually, they may even be paid to do this. Paid trolls. They may be paid in order to tear me down psychologically, as if I'm not already totally torn down from my mother and my childhood trauma and all of this. Now they want to make sure I drown. Okay. They want to make sure I commit suicide. They really do. So I told them right now, I live for my papa dog, I have to be here for my papa dog. Paul needs my help with him, we take turns when we go shopping. One has to be in the van when the other one goes shopping, because I don't want to leave my papa dog alone. My papa dog gets scared when he's alone. He has trauma too from the past, because before we rescued him, he was already 7 when we rescued him. I have no idea what happened to him before that, before he even got to the foster mothers. So he was living in cages and stuff like this with a breeder. And a horrible situation. Very, very sad. So, yeah, so I have to be here all the way through for my papa dog. And I told the haters that. And after my papa dog goes, then I have no reason to stick around either. I don't have any reason to stick around. I don't see much sense in me even offering my thoughts to the world in chat rooms or videos or blogs or Facebook discussions or whatever, There is, I guess there is no receptivity for it. There's just, people aren't receptive for it. They're like dried sponges, where the water beads off. First, the sponge has to be somewhat moist in order to even absorb water and fluids. So in order to mop up something on the table, right? So they have they have hardened themselves into a rock, these people. The stuff beads off on them. And the only thing that is even at all received is something that is acidly shrill and obnoxious and overstimulated sex, overstimulated sexual stimulation. Over if someone is just slightly nerdy, even I see this when I observe people. If someone is slightly nerdy, she'll already get shit for that. She'll be accused of being, I was on OK Cupid several years ago, and there was this Catholic guy, and I was just testing him. I wanted to see. I already saw how angry he was. He was obnoxiously angry and extremely rude and hostile. It's like, if you are hostile, chances are not very high that you're going to get a girlfriend. But I tested him anyway. I wanted to give him like at least a chance to see how he would develop if he would receive love. There was absolutely no way. Okay, I showered him with love. I tried, I gave him something, yeah, some energy, some love energy, and some positive affirmations and all of this. And it made him real angry. This guy is so hardened. There is no receptivity at all for any kind of love, for any kind of like beauty and kindness or anything. So he ended up, in the end, he ended up insulting me, like, calling me dork, and saying, put some fucking makeup on. That was the end of it. And I just thought how extremely sad, how extremely sad that those people have hardened themselves into such extreme hate and into such a cement block of resistance and also self-hate. It's so incredibly shocking for me to see this, to see such decrees of coldness, because even if someone finds me so extremely disgusting looking, they don't have to talk to me. They don't need to even look at my photo or anything. In a chat room, my photo is so tiny. You don't need to look at it. There's no need to even pay any attention to it. So, and no, I don't look disgusting. I don't, If I would, I wouldn't show myself, if I was like complete Quasimodo, if I was, and I don't mind Quasimodo. I think distorted faces are very interesting to look at, personally, because I'm an artist. So Picasso's, the lopsided eyes and all of this, I find that very interesting. So it's flow, it's art, it's artistic flow. It's not stagnant. So I'd rather look at the Picasso faces than at a burn victim look of someone who has disfigured himself with plastic surgery to make himself or herself pretty. So that's scary. That's horror movie, someone who has had plastic surgery over and over again because they hate themselves and they started out looking really cool and cute. And in the beginning, and then after all the surgeries, they look like a burn victim. They look like someone who had to have reconstructive surgery done. And it is scary to look at that. Very scary. Because not only because of the reconstruction of the face, but because there's an energy that definitely radiates out of those faces, and the energy is self-hate. Self-hate and hope in a reconstruction of their actual face. There's this coveting need, and this, like the need for something else to beautify them, to make something out of them, as if they are not already a complete person. So, and this self-hate in it, and this almost like becomes a sexual arousal of them wanting or feeling like it's close, that they're going to be reformed into this fantasy phase, the fantasy that of their sexual fantasies, and that's how they're gonna be looking like. Like, for example, if I was to make my face into Babette, which would never work, because my face is so utterly differently shaped and structured from my bone structure, that it would never go there. But it's as if I, like I fantasize being Babette and looking like her, and how amazing that would be. And again, I'm not pointing my finger at other people and saying, you are all neurotic and I'm not. No, that's not what my videos are about. Again, my videos are about contemplating together with you how we heal these things, because we all have this. We're all suffering from this. We're all suffering from this. If I had money, if I had trillions of dollars, there's no telling what I would do with my face. There's no telling what I end up doing, and how much I would end up betraying my own philosophy, and running to the next surgeon and saying, oh, there's my hope. The surgeon is my hope, There it is. It's not long off now. Pretty soon I'm going to be looking like Babette, or somewhat in that direction. And maybe, I don't know what they are going to do. They're going to completely reconstruct my bone structure. They're going to do bone grafts and jaw crushing, and no telling what they're going to do. It's going to be horror movie. But hey, the future is not far off. In half a year, after everything has healed up and I have become a drug addict of Vicodin because of the pain treatments for the surgery, then I will have that what I always dreamed about. I will finally become Babette. No, I am not Babette. Okay, I'm genetically not Babette. Okay. I am Nicola. Yes, sorry. That's all I can offer. And it's not my fault, okay? I didn't choose to be in this body. I didn't choose to have this face. Again, if you find this extremely annoying, you can turn this off at any time. I understand. I'm not forcing this on anyone. This is for me, this is my own therapy, what I'm doing right now. It's just kind of like, sort of like primal therapy, but with the extra. Yeah. This is the therapy that I would like to develop. This is the therapy that we need in the world. This is primal primal and Buddhism and art combined. Okay, so expression through art. Okay, you can do a lot of squeezing. And I don't have a primal room, I don't have a soundproof room, I don't have padded walls. But that is something we need. We need a real large room, a real large hall, and all the way around the walls we need real thick padded foam, real dense foam. Okay, and that covered in something, covered in some real thick rubber sheets. Okay, nicely made, nicely wrapped in it, and that around the whole room, all real tall, 7 feet tall, and this thick, all the way to the floor. And the walls need to be sturdy, and we can go for the walls, which we did in LA, this at the Primal Training Center, and later the Primal Therapy Center. So they have moved to Santa Monica now. I have never been to the Santa Monica place yet. Last time I went there, they were in Venice on Abbot Kinney Boulevard. So last time I was there was in 2000, and then I never went back. So I wanted to go back in between a couple of times, but I couldn't afford it. And they would only take me back if I have the entire thing done and pay for the entire thing. I don't know what it costs. Of course, it's very expensive, several $1,000s for intake interviews, for certain amount of group sessions, certain amounts of individual sessions that they are recorded and discussed during tape review. I did the training program myself for about 3 years, but I didn't end up with a certificate or anything. So, but I learned a lot there. I would say that's probably where I learned the most in terms of how a therapy has to, and all these problems that occur, and all the dangers and the pitfalls and the risks and so on till people died. Yeah, so it's not a therapy I recommend to people because of this. But it is a therapy that I learned a lot from, and it was very risky because I could have died too at any time. At any time. I was very close to it. See that one woman, my age, she'll be 53 too now. Mary Maloney. That's a real sad thing too. And Mary didn't, also an artist, reminded me a lot of my friend Katya, and Mary Maloney from England. And she came all the way there to do therapy, and I don't know, we were I think we were 28 or 29, something like this. They had kicked me out of the center because I wasn't taking their medication, which that's another violation. I think that's an actual violation. I think it's a legal violation what they did there, to force me, to blackmail me into taking medication so that I can remain a patient there. So that's another thing. And I didn't even pay attention to how much money I paid or overpaid. I was completely out of it. So, but Yeah, they kicked me out, and I wasn't there to help Mary. If I had been there to help Mary, I could have maybe saved her life. I could have spent time with her every day. Would have done that. So she lost the relationship, and then she felt she was so devastated she couldn't deal with this at all. And she told people that she was suicidal, and no one really paid any attention. That's another horrible thing. It's like, how can this happen? How can something like this happen in a therapy center where no one even pays any attention? When a patient says, look, I'm in a real serious crisis. I feel like I can't continue to exist. And that has to be taken absolutely seriously when someone says something like this. So maybe I'll make 2 videos about this because I have so much to say about this. So much to say. So, because that's been my dream, to develop a therapy center and help people, really help people, not just people who can afford it, but people who have no money too. Those are the ones who probably suffer the most. So, I mean, the ones with the money, they suffer too. They're suicidal too. But the ones without any money, they end up in the wrong circles, and they end up with trailer alcoholic type of people and stuff like this. And that's actually very risky for those people. And they can even, in the course of that, damage their brains, and then it becomes even harder to heal the old wounds and all of this. So, or make something out of their lives, set up something, some kind of stability, financially and emotionally or something. So most people are not in very well emotional stability. Some people barely function. If something is removed, they fall into an abyss. And this is actually kind of happening in the chat room. These people don't function very well. They suffer really badly, actually. And then someone comes in and says, dissolve religion. And that kind of knocks out the last pseudo platform that they're standing on. It knocks it out from under their feet because obviously the truth, that's the thing. When you argue on side of this truth, the truth will argue for you. You don't even need to do much arguing. You don't even need to do much convincing or struggling. You say, hey, this is the truth, as harsh as it is, for the ego, for the defense mechanism. The pseudo platform that people stand on, the belief system. I believe. That's what Jiddu Krishnamurti was talking to David Bohm and David Sheenberg about. People have a belief system. It may be totally ridiculous, but they believe. So it's some kind of platform, some kind of thing they lean on. Then someone comes along and brings the truth. No belief can lead people to truth. Jiddu Krishnamurti, he was about 32 when he came to that realization. They had made an emperor out of him in England. They had declared him to be Gautama Buddha, the savior of all humanity. In the Theosophical Society, they have given him palaces and wealth. He's rejected all of it. He said, No religion or guru can lead humanity to truth. Yeah. The truth has to come from within. They have to recognize this from within. So he dedicated his life to talking with people, not to people, but with them, to exploring with them together in many conversations, endless conversations, countless conversations, his whole life, I don't know, for 60 years around the whole globe, talking and talking to people about liberation of mind, but in a setting of we talk about this together, not me here up there and you there, but this on eye level. He says the moment someone puts himself onto a pedestal, it's finished. It's useless. Because then people fall back into that same pattern of worshiping and leaning back and letting the other person run their lives, which is not going anywhere. I'm sorry. This is the truth. This doesn't go anywhere. So many subjects that all tie into this suffering, all tie into this, and it ties into the haters, it ties into the sensitive people like myself. The people the haters hate. The truth recognizers, they're hated the most. So they hate the truth because the truth hurts so bad that religion is useless. It's actually mind-rotting, dangerous drug. That's what it is. It's a dangerous escape mechanism, particularly when they think they're going to be rewarded in an afterlife. And that seems to be the case with every religion. In some form, there's this pseudo-promise that some dude made up. It's just not truth. And they go, oh, I'm going to be behaving just like my religion tells me, even if ExxonMobil added some clauses into it and some additions and some amendments from Eli Lilly, ExxonMobil, and Monsanto all mixed into my religion. Now I adhere to it. I adhere to their anti-green propaganda because, hey, it's my religion now. So, because then I can claim the kingdom of heaven in my afterlife if I'm going against solar energy now. That's how insanely ridiculous religion is. Just wanted to put this this into perspective. So it's not about my face. It's not about vanity. It's not about me, not looking like Kardashian. It's not me looking like total dark and old and all and whatever, tranny-ish. It's not about my face. My face is here to say, here's a real face for you. A real person. This is not some kind of chatbot. This is not some kind of Barbie doll facade. I'm not working for Monsanto or any of those horrible institutions and corporations. I'm not tied to the military. I'm not tied to the government. I'm an individual person Okay, I'm not catering to the medical industry and the plastic surgeon industry. I'm not catering to it. I probably would if I had the money to do it. I don't, I cannot possibly say of myself, I am totally above all of this, because I'm not. I'm just lucky enough that I don't, my life is customized in such a way by my destiny, okay, that with everything on it, the lack of finances for plastic surgery, just enough finances to have time to make these videos, um, just enough finances to live a holistic lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, okay? Not enough finances to drown myself with alcohol or drugs, which I wouldn't do either way. That I really wouldn't do, even if I had the money. But no, just saying, a lot of people, when they have a lot of money, the first thing they do is they buy drugs or whatever, those kind of things, to drown out the pain. Which again, I am not judging like with the ultimate judge hammer on any of you, not even on the haters that come after me and wish me death and tell me I look disgusting. Not even those. Because I know they're suffering. Because someone who feels content with themselves and happy, someone happy and content, they don't have time to, they wouldn't bother to go after someone, insulting someone like this. They, even if they didn't care what I feel, or even if they didn't care if I committed suicide, someone who's somewhat content, content, even if it's a content sociopath sort of, they wouldn't need to come after me. They wouldn't feel the need to batter me into the ground and force me into suicide, which they do with a lot of people. The haters, they do that. They force, particularly those who are new to the world, who are not grounded at all yet, who haven't understood yet how people are, and that society needs to be questioned, and that these people are all suffering and in misery, and that's why they're so neurotic. That's why our entire society is neurotic. See, the teenagers, they don't question any of these things. They think the adults, or they know what they're doing. So when they're being bullied by adults, they think it's their fault. They think if they're shamed into suicide, they think they should commit suicide. That's what they actually think. They think they're unfit to be part of society. That's what the bullies do with people. They bully people into suicide. This is such a serious issue. This comes also with the internet, of course. That used to be not so extreme in the past, before the internet. That was kind of bound to a school class, which is also bad. But, there somehow, you were able to find your own niche and your own clique and your own circles, and you can hide there and you can get some comfort there. On the internet, you're completely alone on that screen, and the haters will come after you. And if there's someone nice that gives you some comfort, it's gonna be drowned out by the haters. A nice gesture from someone is drowned out by someone else telling the person to commit suicide, because that is so much louder, and so much more, that energy is so much more, like, it's so dominant and so overpowering and so destructive. So we need to take this really seriously, what's going on the internet, the bullying, the shaming. But again, I can't, the ultimate judge hammer I can't do, not in terms of emotional. I can't do an emotional judge hammer. I mean, a legal judge hammer. We need to figure out ways to help people. We need to prevent these things from happening. But the ultimate emotional judge hammer I don't have for anyone. I only have a rose for you. That's all I have. Because I know you're suffering. You're all suffering. Every one of you, almost everyone, is suffering. Some people, and the haters suffer the most. They really do. They have hardened themselves into a rock. Love beats off. Actually, love is met with hostility. The ego comes out of the armor with an axe and a knife when someone offers love. Love is met with suspicion. Love brings out pain. Love brings out it. It opens a hole into the homeostasis between outside and inside. Suddenly, if the outside offers love, it pokes a direct acid hole into the ego construction. And the inner child comes out, the pain comes out, all of these things suddenly are exposed to your prefrontal cortex,